What's going on, guys? My name is Tyler. This is Everyday EDC. Today, I'm going to be doing kind of like a review of these two knives, the Malice and the Spyderco Shaman, and a comparison of the two. I'm also going to be announcing the giveaway results for the CJRB RIA and then the Patreon giveaway results for the Civivi Perf. So, let's get to it. Alright, so first and foremost, this video might run a little bit longer. I do freeform most of my stuff. I take notes and I do my research and stuff, but then I go back to the way I enjoy doing videos. So if you guys like a more structured video, this channel is probably not for you. I like to freeform it. But it is all the same template, if you will. But for this one, the reason I chose to compare these two knives is, one, because these are two very, very good ergonomic beasts, right? Their sizes are generically the same. Generically, I say that the Shaman's a little bit longer. Blade length's about the same. They both have that choke-up position, and they're both relatively fidgety, right? They're both reverse flicking. The only difference is the Malice has the flipper on it. So there's a lot of little things in here that if you like one, you're gonna love the other one. And I figured, you know, in my time of carrying both of these knives, maybe not this particular Shaman, I carried my first Shaman quite a bit though. And then this Malice, as you guys can tell from the tip, I did a pretty crappy finishing job, but I took the tip off. It was a miserable day. It was Malice Monday, and I was very upset. Since then, I did fix the tip to an extent, but it still has a little bit of a could use some work. So I'm going to give you guys some specs, some size comparisons, and then we're going to jump straight into the comparison video because the comparison the comparison is kind of a review, right? It goes over all the topics that I would hit during a review anyways. This gives you a chance to look at two different knives and two different high-profile knives. I've been putting off reviewing the Malice for quite some time. I did a review of the Spyderco Shaman a long time ago, probably prematurely, if you will. So now's a good time to catch up and kind of take a look at both. So first, let's just take a look at these knives. This is my Spyderco Shaman. This is an XHP, and it does have the Ergonomics scales on it. These are silver twill scales. Very, very nice knife. Has a stonewash finish and just looks freaking sick. Now let's take a look at the Malice. This guy's titanium. This is the flame anode version. This is an M390. Got a little bit of, what is that on the freaking? It's odd. Okay. So as you can see, an M390, titanium, big back spacer. That's really cool. It's got these kind of like jimps in it all the way down. You can reverse flick it, you can thumb flick it, and you can flipper tab. Very, very deep-bellied, well, not deep-bellied, but rather deep-bellied, tall M390 blade. Is it M390 or 20 CV? No, I don't remember. I think it's M390 though. Same thing, same difference, right? Yeah, so I mean, the choke-up position here, bam, feels good, right? Choke-up position in the Malice, feels really good. The choke-back position, feels good in the Malice. The choke-back position in the Shaman, feels good. The Fidget Factor, the Shaman, you have the compression lock, right? But with the Malice, this thing's just such a heavy blade. It's just a frame lock, but it is extremely satisfying to fidget with. Very, very cool. All in all, I think the Malice came in at about $280. I want to say the Shaman and XHP, I don't remember what specific model that was. I'm going to guess around $210 to $215, plus the Ergonomics scales, which are about another $80 to $100. So you're kind of looking at about $310 into the Shaman right now, plus a $10 backspacer or whatever. I'm not talking aftermarket prices. I'm just talking generic prices from when they first came out. Now, the Malice you can't get anymore, to my knowledge. I don't think anybody sells this. You're going to have to get this on the second hand if you want it. The Shaman and XHP, obviously, that's a exclusive or a sprint run or something. And so that's going to be a little bit more harder to get. But, I mean, I like the fact that I got the XHP. The only other one that I might have wanted more is the Crewwear. But I think XHP is one of the best, like the best steals for that. I think it's really cool. All right, so let's get you guys some specs. Get you guys some specs of both of these knives. We'll get you guys some size comparisons of both of these knives. We'll jump right into the comparison, and then we will do the giveaways at the end. So, let us get the weights of these two monsters. Ergonomic just dreams. All right, so the weight of the Malice. This is rather heavy. This is coming in at 6.1 ounces. It's a giant chunk is what it is. The Shaman's going to be a little bit lighter, I think. Yeah, 5.2 ounces. So the Shaman's coming in a little bit lighter despite being a larger profile. So I mean, that's a good kudos to the Shaman in essence, right? It's bigger, but it weighs less. All right. Get you guys some length. And the reason I'm doing this video is, like I said, I haven't really reviewed my Malice, and I've been putting it off because I didn't want to like review a knife and then have to like not carry it anymore because you already reviewed it type of thing. But B, I wanted to do something kind of special for the giveaways. And then C, I just really like both of these knives, and I'm curious how the comparison will go myself. That tells you how much I script. I don't script this shit. All right, so the Shaman appears to be coming in at 8 1/4 inches. The blade length itself is coming in at about 3 3/4, but the cutting edge is about 3 1/8. While your overall length on the Malice is coming in just about 8 inches. The blade length is coming in just about 3 1/2, and your cutting edge is coming in at just about 3. So the Shaman's about 1/4 inch longer all around. Compared to the Malice. Oh no, we can lay this out. Let's get you guys some blade stock thicknesses, some behind the edge thicknesses. All right, so the blade stock thickness of the wee Malice, Ferrum Forge design, about 150 to 155 thousandths on the spine, and the behind the edge, after sharpening, mind you, is coming in at about 20 thousandths behind the edge. And that's after sharpening, and I took quite a bit off of sharpening because I wanted to get that chip tip, or the tip that was knocked off, back on there. So I did have to take quite a bit. So that's kind of impressive that it's still about 20 thousandths behind the edge. And it's a flat grind too, so that means it was much more slicey to start with. All right, so the blade stock thickness on the Spyderco Shaman is coming in about 145 thousandths. That's coming in a little bit thinner than the Malice. And the behind the edge is coming in a little bit thicker than the Malice by like 1 or 2 thousandths. Like not a huge significant difference, but it is going to be a little bit more than this one, especially when this one was new before sharpening. The thickness of the Malice is coming in at 0.55 of an inch, or 555 thousandths. The thickness of the Shaman is coming in at, this is with the new scales too, about 530 thousandths, or 0.53 of an inch. So it's going to be a little bit thinner. Let's see the height in your pocket. Both of these are going to be relatively tall knives. I don't know why my hands aren't working today. Like, I'm telling them to do something and they're not doing it. All right, so the height of the Malice at its generic tallest point is about 1.5 inches. So that's a pretty tall, it's going to take up quite a bit of space there. The height of the Shaman's coming in at 1.65 inches, so this is going to be taller, but that's typical of Spyderco. Now, if we were to measure the flipper tab, the Malice is much closer to the Shaman if you include the flipper tab. It's still less, but not by much. I wouldn't put too much credence into that because most of the time flipper tabs don't bother me. They may bother you. I don't know. But the way this sits in your pocket, it kind of cockeyes, right? If this is your pocket seam, let's see here. This is your pocket seam. It's going to kind of want to sit like this, meaning that this flipper tab is going to be a little bit out of the way. It's not out of the way as much as some. And then this is just going to be, this is your deep carry MXG pocket clip that's on there. All right, let's get you guys some size comparisons. I got a wily lineup and some original lineup of size comparisons for you guys. I'm doing 8 knives, but since I got 2 on the table, it's going to take me a little bit longer. So here is your Benchmade Adamas. Yeah, that's huge. She's huge. Much larger than both. On the flip side, here is your Benchmade Bug Out. Obviously much smaller than both. Next, we have your Wee Esprit. Smaller than both of those. Next, we have your QSP Penguin. This is in titanium. You guys haven't seen this unboxing yet, but that knife's awesome. All right. Much smaller than both. Next, we have your Rat Model 1. Now we're getting into some conventionals. Rat Model 1 is going to be a little bit longer than both of these, but a little bit more narrow in the profile than both of these. Here's your Rat Model 2. And then last but not least, we have a Civivi sandwich, because we all know and love Civivi. Here is your Civivi Praxis. The Praxis is kind of like your budget version of both of these. If you're looking for a budget option to go with the Shaman or the Malice, the Praxis really does serve that purpose. It's fidgety, you got the tall blade shape, and you know, I mean, if you look, they're very, very similar looking, right? You can obviously tell the Praxis is a more budgety version, but you're getting kind of the same thing. And then last but not least, we have your Civivi Elementum. Obviously much smaller than both. And one thing I want to do, which I'll let you guys kind of do a sneak peek on this. I'm not sure how. Let's move these off. Total sidetrack. This is your Wee Knives Akashi. This is your Civivi Elementum. Okay. Alright, never mind. I thought they were more similar. That's good. That makes me happy that they're not as similar as I thought they were. Alright. So there's your comparisons. Let's jump into the actual comparison of these two knives. We're doing a 7-base system based on 2 points, plus or minus, or no, not really. 0, 1, 2 is the point system. So 0, you did not win the category. 1, you barely won the category. And 2, you decimated the category. I don't anticipate any 2s here, but we'll see. The categories are as follows: aesthetics, ergonomics, blade shape, carry factor, fidget factor, fit and finish, and value. So, without further ado, let us get into aesthetics. Now, this one kind of sucks. This whole thing's gonna suck because I'm looking at the aesthetics of both of these, and I truly do love the aesthetics of both of these. The Shaman's a little bit different because you can change it up. Now, if this was a Shaman with titanium scales, I mean, I might feel differently. I'm going to give a superficial 1 to the Malice. I think the Malice just looks better than the Shaman. Which is weird that even the Shaman's competing, because the Spyderco shouldn't compete with aesthetics, right? Spydercos are kind of typically ugly until you get them in hand and then you fall in love with their personality. So, yeah, we're going to give a superficial +1 to the Wee Malice. Next, let's go into blade. So this being a CTS XHP and this being an M390 or 204P, whichever, or even 20CV. 20CV, M390, 204P's stereotypically going to be a little bit better than CTS XHP. Arguably so, you know, if you're a user and you prefer that out of the XHP, a little bit more toughness, there's that. But you can give the blade steel kind of a 1-up. And I think the more narrow behind the edge is going to kind of win it a little bit for me too. It's not a decimation with the Wee Malice over the Shaman, but I do think that even though I sharpened, and I'm telling you guys, I took some diamond stones to this and laid that edge as far. I took so much metal off to try and get rid of that broken tip. So this thing had to be 18, 17, 16 thousandths behind the edge when it was brand new, right? This Shaman is brand new, short of a couple cuts, and it's still coming in higher than the Wee Malice at the behind the edge thickness, despite the Wee Malice having a thicker blade stock. So for that reason, I'm going to have to give the win to the Malice, but it's, again, only a 1. So for the blade and aesthetics, the Malice is getting a 1. Let's go into fit and finish. So let's start with the Malice. Do I have any issues with the Malice? Now, these are both used, so that's kind of hard to say. But what I can say is that I don't think any issues with anything. It's locked up solid. This is really, really good looking. There's no gapping on that backspacer. The pocket clip, the way it sits in there, let's close this real quick. Oh, and by the way, perfectly centered, even after bending the tip off and sharpening the shit out of it. Let's see here, the pocket clip. You can kind of see a little bit of the seams there, but it's not like anything I would nitpick. You got T8s all around, which is really, really cool. So that's the Wii Malice. I mean, I don't have any issues with it. So at this point, I'm kind of looking for a flaw with the Shaman to give the Malice another point if there is any. Now, I'm not going to grade these scales because these are Ergonomics scales. It's kind of hard to grade. So honestly, I think at this point, now that I'm looking at it, I have to give these a wash due to the scale change. It's not fair to compare the two. All right, so it's still a 2-point lead for the Wii Malice. We have the aesthetics and the blade. Fit and finish is a wash. Let's get into Fidget Factor. Here's your Shaman. Oh. You got a lot of opening methods there. The Malice. You have a really nice reverse flick with that cool looking fuller. That's one thing I didn't mention with, god damn. Well, that's gonna hurt it. That's a bad time to fail on the thumb for the Fidget Factor. So here's the unique thing about these, despite failing with my thumb multiple times with that Malice. They both have multiple opening methods, and the compression lock is more fidgety, right? But the Wii Malice has bearings, so you definitely feel a massive difference between this versus, oh, that just kind of made my point. All right, so we're going to give the Fidget Factor a 1 for the Wii Shaman, or for the Spyderco Shaman. I was going to give them a tie, and then the drop shut when I pushed the compression lock just kind of took my wind out of my sails. So the score is now 2-1. The Shaman has 1 point for Fidget Factor. The Wii Malice has 1 for aesthetics and 1 for blade. Let's get into, we've already done fit and finish. Let's get into ergonomics. This one's going to be a doozy. All right, so let's start with the Shaman. So choked up, or not choked up, feels good. Choked up feels really good. All right, and there's plenty of room. Non-choked up on the Malice feels excellent. Choked up just feels okay because that blade's thin. Now, I'm dealing with a thin blade there versus this half choil with all these jimps right there. So this definitely feels better in the choked up position, but in the non-choked up position, the Malice feels better. Now, I can also tell you guys, having cut with both of these are both an ergonomic dream to use. Now, they're very specific task oriented. So I tried cutting in, the way I broke the tip on the Malice is I was cutting through like a 4-ply cardboard box into some aluminum trying to see if I could find steel. Granted, I was doing it safely, and then when I had to pop the cardboard out, I got stuck behind a piece of aluminum that was flattened against this box. It had about 2,000 pounds of aluminum in it. And attacking a box with a drop point isn't the best. You know, you're slicing into this box. It didn't work. Actually, I used my Kershaw Launch 10 to kind of make the preliminary cuts because you can kind of use that hawkbill shape to hook into it. And that's how I got in. Anyways, my point being here is that they're both really, really good and comfortable to use in hard use tasks, light use tasks, and long-term tasks. I don't know that it would be fair for me to give either one of these a plus, because I think the choke back position in the Wii Malice is much better than the Spyderco Shaman. But then again, that's what these Ergonomics scales. This feels good, guys. Don't get me wrong. I am not knocking that. It's just this feels awesome, in my opinion. So I'm going to give the Ergonomics a wash, which sucks because the Shaman is notorious for just ergonomics, right? I just, when I pick it up and I'm like refreshing my memory on the usage of these, like, I mean, I don't, yeah, I don't know. I kind of want to give the Shaman 1 point, but I think that's out of like mentally being trained that the Shaman is just an absolute killer for ergonomics. So I'm going to give it a wash. All right, so where does that leave us? That leaves us as a 2-to-1. The Malice has one for aesthetics, one for blade, and then the Spyderco Shaman has one for Fidget Factor. We've already gone over a fit and finish wash. We've gone over a ergonomic wash. Let's talk about carry factor here. This one's also going to be kind of difficult. I didn't really think this comparison through before I started because A, your Shaman's going to carry deeper in your pocket. Not by much. My Malice is only sticking out by that much, right? But B, your Malice is going to be shorter anyways. So while your Shaman's down there, your Malice is going to be right here in your pocket. You got all that. Everything else is kind of the same. Do I think that there's a key winner here? Not so much. But also remember, I'm comparing this with the MXG Deep Carry pocket clip on there, or the Lynch clip, whatever it is. And I'm not comparing it as the standard because I don't have the standard set up anymore. So in this current form is what I should be saying, I guess. In this current form, which one's better? Honestly, it's a tie, but I can tell you in the original form, if it was the original form, the Malice would take it down because now the Shaman isn't deep carry and it's bigger, right? That's where I lie. So we're kind of, let's just go over the carry factor. They're both just hulking beasts in your pocket. It would have been a wash then too because the Malice weighs an ounce, like an ounce more. So yeah, that's where that goes. Last but not least, let's go into value. Now let's talk about the value of the regular Shaman versus the Malice for the sake of value. Because with the Shaman, yes, you may have $400 put into it, but you're going to do that over time. You don't do that overnight, right? So you can get the base version of the Shaman for about 210 bucks. Not talking about the XHP steel, we're just talking about the S30V version, hopefully the S45 version whenever that comes out. And then the Malice though is coming in at 280 bucks, brand new, 260 to 280, somewhere in that range. So it's about $50 more. You are getting, if you're talking base models, you're getting a much, like the materials are much stronger, right? You're getting your M390, you're getting your titanium, you're getting bearings, no real milled titanium. Let's see, I'll show you guys. I keep looking in here to see if I see anything. Might as well show you guys too. The titanium's not milled, so there's no milling. It's a basic construction, but you are getting much higher premium stuff. So for the $50, is there a difference? To me, not really. Like, you know, they're kind of the same. You're paying $50 more for titanium and M390 versus S30 and G10. That's kind of where that goes. So I will have to say that the value, I think, are pretty even if you're talking about the 210 versus 260 to 280, but you're talking about the base version of the Shaman. If you're talking about this version of the Shaman, the Malice takes it down all day, right? I mean, do I really get more value out of these? Like, I guess you do, but not to the extent of this, because you already at titanium. This is silver twill and blah, 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 XHP. So I'm going to have to give the value a wash as well. So this was a tight comparison going into this. I didn't have any preconceived notions, but in my opinion, not in my opinion, but based on the objective relative views of this comparison, the Malice, I would say, is something that wins marginally. Like it's very like minor. And you know what's messed up is ever since I had my Malice, my Shaman saw less pocket time. So subconsciously, that objective outcome kind of makes sense to me. So I hope that was entertaining, guys. It's just kind of like something special on a Saturday. I will be just editing this real quick and then releasing it. But I do want to put out some winners here. I apologize again. The CJRB RIA, I don't even remember what video I did that giveaway on. Like, life happened and I forgot all about it. So I had to go back through my videos. I found the video where I did it, and I did a comment picker, which I'm going to post a picture here. Yes, it's not live. You could say this is contrived or whatever. I swear I only pressed the frickin' button once. Same thing for the Patreon. You have to take me at my word, and I'm giving something away, so you got to trust the validity of the process, I guess. But let's just say this. Congratulations, Mr. Spalding. I was very happy to see your name come up because you are one that interacts with the channel quite a bit. There's several of you that do, but I was very happy to see your name come up in the giveaway, and you, with your comment here, have won the CJRB RIA. So I'm going to be doing the Patreon giveaway here too. The reason that I'm doing it in the same video is I kind of want to show everybody, it's kind of self-serving, right? I want to show people what I do give away in the Patreon. So if you're ever interested, you kind of know what you're getting into. Like, you can see a history, but it also kind of entices you. Be like, oh, he gave away that. That's cool. So this is for the month of August. I'm a couple days late. But what I ended up doing is I have 8 Patreons currently. I took the 8 Patreons and I put them, and I took a screenshot of their names all in order based on Patreon, and I labeled them 1 through 8. Well, then I ran a random number generator, and I only ran it once, of 1 through 8, which I will also put. And Captain Steve, you are the winner of the Savivi Perf. Brand new. I don't even know if I took it out of the box. So congratulations, sir. I think I have both of your guys' informations, but you guys definitely know how to get a hold of me via Instagram. I'm not sure if you guys have my phone number or not, but reach out. Give me your addresses one more time. Let me know that you've seen this. I won't ship this until you've seen it. That's kind of part of the giveaway thing. You got to claim it. So reach out to me on Instagram. Let me know that you're claiming the prize, A, and B, let me know what your address is. That's all I got for you guys today. My name is Tyler. I hope you enjoyed. This was fun. This was one of those things that kind of is painful to do, and I'm not going to be reviewing the Malice after this. I think that covers the Malice quite a bit. You may see it pop up in future videos, but for the Malice and Shaman, I don't see a reason to review these, as comparing them together is kind of a review in itself. They are both definitely worth it. They're both definitely fantastic knives, and they are some of the favorites that I have in my collection. I would say these are easily, and this is going to sound kind of stupid, but these are easily in my top, I would say, 8 to 10 at this point. The Malice and Shaman were both #1 at one point, but new knives come out, your tastes change a little bit, and you start appreciating more and more things, or less and less things, and that has kind of led me away from these being #1, but they are still definitely in that list. My name is Tyler. This has been Everyday EDC. You guys stay sharp, stay safe, and have a great freaking rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching. Be safe on the holiday, guys. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. This is my Patreon. This is my Instagram, everydayedc_77. I'm going to do a special shout out to all the Patreons: John K, Sammy, Eggs and Ham, Jason M, Dogtooth, Kaiba, Mickey, Wolf, and Captain Steve. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great freaking day.